Hi everyone, I'd like to start off today with a question. Will there be more opportunities for women in the science and technology industries in 2016? Are we moving in the right direction? That's what I want to talk about, opportunity. The experiences I've had as a relatively young female professional working in a male-dominated industry, and the opportunities that I see for women in engineering and construction. I'd also like to talk about how to build a network to open doors and explore possibilities. I was fortunate enough to study chemical engineering at one of the top universities in Canada. Actually, people called it Fem-Eng instead of Chem-Eng because there was a really high percentage of girls in the class. The mechanical engineers were always really jealous because they had only about 5 girls in their class of over 100 guys. But my class was about 50-50, and I never felt like the odd girl out. Once I got into the workforce, I did feel like a bit more of a minority. For example, one of my previous projects was to design and build a system to transfer natural gas odorant, which is the stuff that makes natural gas smell like rotten eggs. I had to work directly with 4 experts in odorant, 4 operations guys who'd had over 100 years of experience combined with my company. At first, they didn't really know what to do with me. I was a young female engineer who wanted to change the way they had done things for over 30 years. They called me sweetheart a lot. But you know what? They were really good guys, and I learned a lot from them. So I listened really closely to their concerns, and I worked with them to determine how to make the improvements. In the end, we came up with some great ideas, and they were really happy with the result. I didn't try and change the way they saw me directly because I knew I wouldn't be able to, but my hard work and determination earned their respect. Now I'm a project engineer working on a large pipeline project. The job's pretty easy. You dig a hole, you put a pipe in it, you cover it back up. Okay, it's a little bit more complicated than that, but you get the idea. In my job, I work with engineers, executives, and construction contractors. I regularly make presentations or lead meetings where I'm not only the youngest, but also the only female in the room. But what I am seeing is that my industry is changing, and technology is playing a big role in that. There are cases where we can't just dig a trench and put a pipe in it. There's so many constraints on construction in terms of environmental, social, or cultural constraints, and lots of times there's just not enough space. So the industry is turning to new technology to try and combat some of these obstacles. For example, on my current project, we're working in a situation where we have an incredibly environmentally sensitive area, and we need to put a pipe through it. So rather than do the traditional type of construction where we dig a giant hole and put the pipe in, we're using essentially a giant mechanized computer, which is going to dig right underneath the environmentally sensitive area, and then we're going to put the pipe in that. That means that there's going to be no surface disturbance. So this is something that 10 years ago would have been kind of considered absurd. I'm really good with technology. I'm always the go-to person when somebody can't get their computer to work or when they want the details on the latest type of construction methodology. It's a unique skill that I bring to my team, and I'm seeing it's more and more in demand. I've noticed that leaders of my industry are investing in people with different skill sets in order to stay competitive. I also believe the key factor in my success has been relationships. Of course, hard work and the ability to embrace change are really important, but what inspires me most is the brilliant people that I'm so blessed to call my mentors, coaches, and sponsors. I actually have my very own little board of directors. This idea of a personal board of directors is one that came from my longtime mentor, my father, during one of my more challenging internships. As I've progressed in my career, I've collected people who have the ability to relate to what I'm doing, but also provide me an alternative perspective. At first, the idea of asking people outside of my company or my department was kind of terrifying. What would I say? Aren't they kind of too busy for me? It seemed really easy to just not bother with any of it. But I quickly found the value in creating professional relationships. And I've been so lucky in the people that have chosen to invest their time in me. My board is constantly changing. Sometimes people move on or you outgrow them, and that's okay. Value the time you spend with each person and try and keep in touch. I've heard from various people that women often have a harder time creating social capital or building professional relationships. I haven't actually found this. The women in my industry have been helpful and willing to engage with me since day one. My first week on my job, I was lucky enough to have lunch with two wonderful managers from my department, two females. They were able to help me learn the ins and the outs of the business. I've grown my network to include women from all over the world, from all different types of industries. I hope my experience is indicative of a trend within our industries, where we'll be more open to sharing our experiences and giving other women a helping hand. We help other women so naturally in our personal lives. There's huge potential for us to play a much more significant role in the science and technology industries. Opportunities like SheTalks is a great place to start. If you haven't already, please make an effort to connect with somebody and then take the time to follow up with them. I actually find it it's more natural for me to connect with women. But the reality is that my industry has way more men. While I have a great network of female mentors and sponsors, I found I need to be more confident in creating professional relationships with men too. Men actually make great mentors. While connecting with women may seem more natural, I found that great advice and leadership from the men that I team up with as well. So for example, a few years ago, I was working in a department that I loved. I've been working there for a few years, and the manager of the group was happy with me and even just offered me a promotion. I had a mentor, Andrew. He offered me an interesting perspective. Focusing on one area when you're early in your career can be great, but it can also limit the options available to you after a point. He knew me well enough to know that I loved a challenge and I needed a change even when I couldn't see it. I took his advice, and after a year of working for a new group, he came to me with a different opportunity, my dream job, working as part of the project management team on a major pipeline project. His encouragement to try something new set the stage for a new opportunity. Personally, I find it really easy to get fixated on an objective, a report I need to finish or an email that needs to get sent. It can be easy to leave a meeting early or skip a networking event after a conference. Creating relationships takes work, and it can start with something as easy as asking a question. Stay and chat after a meeting, ask a colleague for coffee. You'll find an investment in a professional relationship will create all kinds of interesting new learning and opportunities. It's equally important to be supportive of the people around us. I've done this by encouraging high school students to talk to the people who are working in their industries, in the industries that they want to go into. I'm enthusiastic about taking coworkers' kids for coffee, or even inviting them to a job site. It's such an easy thing to do, and it may inspire someone to pursue a challenging career that they would have otherwise discounted. If you ever want to be inspired or motivated, seek out the newest person in your group and offer to take them for lunch. You'll find that their questions and ideas provide a jolt of energy to an otherwise mundane problem. So to answer my own question, I believe the opportunities in science, technology, and engineering are rapidly expanding. New technology is redefining the way we accomplish our work, and different skill sets and backgrounds are required to take advantage of new tools and methodologies. I challenge you to be inspired by your own board of directors, to take advantage of new opportunities and seek out change. Thank you.